Right, so next talker is coming onto the stage. This man I've watched over the last year, not just change many lives, not just actually change my life as well, but better himself in every single way possible. He's the biggest action taker I've ever met. He gets the job done regardless, and he's always striving for greatness. He's the most caring person I've met too. He'll help you with anything, and he'll always go above and beyond. Well, just like anyone on the team, to be fair. But here he is, Sam Neil, the £300 man.
£300. £300 man. Which one is it?
Just that one.
That one. Nice one. That one. Thanks for that, Clint. Right, so thought I would go through something that at some point everyone's going to go through. Everyone's going to have setbacks, hurdles, obstacles, things that are going to happen to them, how you can heal your body and your mind and overcome all. So, like I said, everyone at some point in their life is going to have some sort of setback, loss, challenge, obstacle, hurdle, whatever you want to call it. And I'm sorry to say, if you haven't, then they will be coming at some point. It's all about being prepared so that you can handle it when it comes. So my biggest setback so far, December 2023, had a shoulder injury. And at this point, I feel like it was almost peak life, to be honest with me. Everything was going great. I was probably in the best shape I've ever been in. I was doing loads of competitions that I was winning. I'd just set a world rowing record. I'd done a lot of good things. So to me, an injury at that time was the worst thing that could have happened because, like I say, everything was going great. So I had a full thickness rotator cuff tear, a grade 5 AC joint tear, and I always get this one wrong, but a carococlavicular ligament tear, so a CC. So yeah, pretty messy job, to be honest. When I had that happen, I was told straight away that it was going to be realistically about 18 months, at least, before I'd even be in a position where I could train properly. Never mind be back to where I was. It was sort of a 6-month process before I could even start touching even bands. Then it would be a process of getting into really light weights, and then about 18 months maybe get back into a position where I could train proper, and then that was when the rebuild started. So the first step, I think, in any setback, whatever you want to call it, is number one is accepting that it's happened. Too many people try and pretend that it's not happened and get on with it, and it's one of the worst things you can do. So detaching your self-worth from the current condition that you're in. So what I mean by that is who you are as a person is bigger than how you look, perform, feel right now. You know, the injury, the setbacks come, but it's not the end of you. It's not going to stop you from getting to where you want to be. You just have to accept that where you are now isn't a reflection of what you are. And then you want to rewire your thoughts. So I might not be my best right now, but that doesn't change my value or my ability to rebuild. So every negative, like in life in general, to be honest, every negative can and has to be changed into a positive. So instead of, I can't do this, change this to, what can I do? So for me, it was, I can't train at the moment. I'm injured, can't do what I want to do, but what can I do with that? You know, I think it was Conor McGregor said a while ago when he had all of his injuries, he was saying you can't train your shoulder, so you can train your legs. You can't train your legs, you can train your arms. You can't train your arms, you can train your stomach. You can always do something. Just doesn't have to be around training, but there's always something you could do. So for me, I couldn't train. What can I do? My obsession was with training. So I then changed that to, I can help other people. I can get people in the gym that don't really feel confident enough to do it themselves. And I started PTing people for free, just because I wanted to stay in the environment of being in the gym, helping people towards a goal. So I started PTing people for free. And I don't know if you can see it there, but that's our kid. So I rewired my thoughts from I can't train to I can help others. So never ever look at what you can't do, always look at what you can do. And that is the first, definitely one of the biggest things. So after I'd started PTing for a while, then started running like HIIT classes in a gym in Denton, which you've been to a few of them, they were tough, weren't they? So it just kept going, and I went from PTing people for free, then PTing people for like a couple of quid just because they felt sorry that they weren't giving me anything, to then running classes, they would go up to like 40 people, so it really started to grow. And again, so whatever obstacle you come across, there's always a way through, around, or over it. You just have to find it. You have to sit down and think, okay, I can't do this. What are my other passions? Or what can I do with that passion? That might be something else on that route, or it could be helping other people. So doing this helped me through a period, and it also opened up so many avenues for me that have helped me get where I am today. I wouldn't be stood here today talking about this if that injury hadn't have happened. Something that seems like the worst thing in the world at the time was honestly the best thing that ever happened to me. If I hadn't have got injured, I'd have just carried on going through the motions with my own training. I wouldn't have started PTing people. PTing people led me to running classes, which then led me going, wow, I can't do all these people PTing. Maybe I should look at online. I could probably manage that. That led me to message Clint about a year and 13 days ago today. 9th February is our anniversary. So, like I say, that injury wouldn't have led me to start PTing people, wouldn't have led me to start running classes. Then I wouldn't have looked at online coaching, and that injury was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because like I say, I wouldn't be doing what I am today. I wouldn't have met all you amazing people, wouldn't be stood here talking, and wouldn't hopefully have helped you the way I have. This is a massive one in life in general, to be honest, but especially when the rough times are going to come, is how positive your circle is. So I always say to people, your circle will 100% make you or 100% break you. So on the right over there, that's my little mini circle. So these three people, Dave, Niall and Clint, they every single day push me to be the best version of me. They're always there to put an arm around me when stuff might not go exactly right, but they're also there to put a rocket up my ass when it's on me to do that. They definitely want the most for me and definitely help me to be that, so I'm massively grateful of people like that. In the middle, put my missus, so what are you laughing at? Yeah. Can you rewind this, Harry, or start again? So I've lost my train of thought now, anyway. She's all right. No, so especially at the time I got injured, a lot of people in my life, which I'll go into in the next minute, but there's two types of people: the people that are going to push you to achieve more and look at other avenues, or the people that are going to let you just lie down and accept what's happened. My missus at the time, you know, she was a shoulder to cry on, so we say, for about an hour, and then it was, so what are you going to do about it now then? You've got all this time that you put into training and doing what you want to do. What are you going to do with that time? It doesn't have to necessarily be training, but you've got to put your energy into something else. So brutal honesty, to be honest, is massive. In your circle, people should definitely support you, but they should also be brutally honest with you at points and put a bit of a rock up your ass, to be honest. And then in here, put Brad, I'm not sure where you are. Oh, he's in the back. But I've just put Brad as an example because there's a lot of people in this room that motivate me more than you actually know. I've put Brad as an example. So Brad owns his own business. He's transformed his life massively. He's got a lot of hurdles. He's always smiling. He's always positive. He's always trying to pick other people up, and he's always willing to listen to stuff you've got to say. I've had a few hurdles recently that I've vented to Brad about, and he's given me advice on that. So my point being is your circle might actually be people you don't even realise are in your circle that have got your best intentions. So you want to be making sure those people are as close to you as possible, because at the point of my injury, for example, I had loads and loads of, what's the word for you? Mates, but not really friends. You know, let's go and get on the piss now, you know. Your body's going to go to shit anyway, so let's just go and get on it. Let's have a weekend away, let's do this. When really that's the opposite of what a friend should be saying to you. They should be saying, okay, what can we go and do now? Not let you hit the fuck it button. So like I said, at the time of injury, I've put this here, so this is your circle, but I've put it in like a semicircle because I feel like within the circle there's two types of people. One half that wanted to help rebuild me, push me back to be better than I was originally, then the other half, which just allow you to stay down, allow you to get back up, not allow you to get back up. One of them has to go, and it's pretty obvious which one has to go. So I've put here what a good semicircle would be. So someone who's brutally honest with you, but with what has your best intentions in the mind. So like I say, my missus, you know, give me a bit of support for about an hour and then shoved the rocket up my ass and said, right, so what are you going to do about it now then? You can't sit and mope about for 18 months. What are you going to do for this 18 months that's going to help you move forward? Support, like I say, someone who can, you can put their arm around you and offer a bit of support, but also offer a different perspective. So it was actually my missus who was one of the people who really suggested, why don't you start helping people in the gym? So she offered a different perspective to me than something I'd not thought of. At the time, my thought was, wow, what am I going to do for 18 months? I'm like, shit, at the end of this, it's just a waste of time. Everything I've done is just start spiraling and thinking of all negative stuff. Someone who can put a different perspective on it and make you think about other things that you could possibly do during that time, they're the people you want in your circle. And definitely keep you from hitting the fuck it button. It'd be easy just to go, well, I can't train for 18 months, so what's the point in eating the good food? What's the point in doing this? What's the point in doing any movement? Because it's all gone to shit anyway. The people are going to say, no, don't let all the stuff you've done so far just go out the window because you've got a bit of an injury. On the other side, you've got the absolute opposite. People that are going to encourage bad habits, allow you to take the foot off the gas. So, people in my circle at that time then were like, oh, let's just go out the weekend, then we'll just get smashed. Let's book a holiday and we'll go here for a week, just get off your box or whatever. But that's the opposite of what you need. You're just making the situation worse. They're magnifying the setback. Oh, wow, that is really bad, that, Sam. Imagine what you're going to look like in 18 months. You're going to be a streak of piss. Like, you shit all that work you've done and it's just all going to go up the pan because you've got an injury. That's not what you need to be hearing at that point. And if you've got people in your circle that magnify your setback and tell you how bad it actually is, get rid of them, because the people on the good side of the circle will make it seem a lot less than it actually is. Yeah, it's just a bit of a bump in the road, but it's not define you. It's a couple of months where you're going to be out for a bit, but that doesn't define you. It's just an injury, it's a setback, it's a hurdle. You're going to get over it. Whereas the other half, like I say, are going to magnify it, make it seem 10 times worse, make you feel worse about it. So my circle is small, but it's powerful. And I seen a quote, it was actually this morning, I thought it was unreal. So I don't know if anyone knows who Joey Diaz is, but he's a comedian. He's on a lot of like Joe Rogan podcasts. And he said, you don't need 200 friends, you just need 3 motherfuckers and you can take over the world. And it's so true. A small circle of people who really believe in you are going to help you do so much more than having 200 people. I think like when I was 18, whatever, probably had loads of mates, but did I have really any friends? Probably not. Now I know I've got probably 50 mates, but I've got 20 friends, but them 20 friends all want the best for me. Feel like in your circle as well, it sounds selfish, but if someone's in your circle that doesn't enhance your life in any way, what's the point in having them in your circle? Because you should be doing the same for them. It's not all one way. You're not just give and getting off them, sorry. You're giving it back. You add value to their life and you help them move forward. It's like I say, my circle is small, but my circle is very, very powerful. You just look at all the people. Just on that picture as an example, like all those people on there motivate me. They all, I know I've got my best intentions. I've got their best intentions and they all push me. Another struggle especially was magnified when I was injured. And I know probably 99.9% of people in here and probably in the world do struggle with this. It's just not spoken about a lot, to be honest. And that is body dysmorphia. So definitely something I struggled with, massively struggled with it when I had the injury because it just reminded me of that skinny kid there. So I think I was maybe, how old was I there? 17, do you reckon? So yeah, when I got injured and started to lose the size and strength I'd put on, it just reminded me of being that little skinny kid, which I hated. And I did not want to look like that again. And I think body dysmorphia is something that, like I say, a lot of people do struggle with. And this is a bit of a tip that hopefully will help you lessen that anyway. Because I feel like it's like a catch-22, I suppose, because it's good to not be fully content with how you feel, because that's going to help you keep moving forward. But at the same time, you should be grateful and be able to look back at how far you've come. A lot of body dysmorphia as well comes from comparing yourself to others. And I seen this online the other day and I thought it was a good quote. You're comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. You're comparing your struggles and everything you go through on a day-to-day basis of, you might have kids, you might work 2 jobs, you might only be able to train 2 days a week. You might not have enough money to a certain degree to be able to afford all the supplements or have the perfect diet. You're comparing your behind the scenes to what you see on Instagram, which is someone who, is full-time bodybuilder, has all the money in the world, can get whatever they want, doesn't have kids, has all this time to be able to do what they want, and we're comparing ourselves to them. I do it all the time. I've got aspirations to be a pro bodybuilder, and I look at people now, and obviously they've been doing it 12, 15 years, and I'm looking at them thinking, wow, I look nothing like them, and I want to be at that level. Best piece of advice I'll ever give you, and Clint told me this, block them. Just don't even look at them, because if it doesn't bring you any benefit where you look at them and think, yeah, that motivates me, why would you even look at it? Just block them or delete them. So like I say, we compare ourselves so much to others, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever it is. We see this perfect image that people put up, and they show how good they look, they're doing this, they're doing that, when really their current situation is going to be so different to ours. So we've always got to, yeah, it's good to have role models, and I think if, you know, I've got so many role models, a lot of them are sat in this room, to be honest. It's good to have role models and look at people and aspire to be like them, but you've also got to remember everyone's story is different. You know, people might have started this journey 10 years before you. So for you to think, wow, why do I look like that person now? You know, different story, you're 10 years behind. Someone might have an infinite amount of funds, no kids. It's dead easy for them when, you know, if you're working 2 jobs, you might not potentially have loads of money. You've got other priorities. Your story is completely different to theirs. So I was always the skinny kid, but that's the thing, I was. I know I'm not now. So doing this is massive, massive, massive. So yeah, I was right, 17. That was me at 17. And then this was me exactly 2 years ago today. So that was just after my shoulder injury, had the operation and was going through the rehab phase. And to be honest, I actually don't look too bad there. But at that point, I felt like a right little skinny, oh, it was awful. But I know a lot of people would be happy with that physique, but to me, that wasn't enough. And then you've got now. I'm glad the lights on that one anyway. I had that one. But that's me now. And the reason I put these 3 together is I feel like it's really important, because this skinny kid at 17, I would have bit this guy's hand off in the middle to look how he looked. I'd do anything at that point to look how he looked there. And then the same from here, the 22nd of Feb 24, I'd have done anything to look like that guy there. But my point being is you've got to look at every stage in your journey and be grateful of the journey, because at every stage here, I've always looked at myself, to be absolutely honest, and thought, I can be better, I can be bigger, this doesn't look good, this doesn't look good. But if you look back at your whole journey, there's so many points in the journey where you would have done anything to look like you look like now. So it's always important to look back. But it's important to look back from where you come from, but wanting more, I think, is a very, very good trait. You know, not being happy with where you are, not necessarily not happy, but wanting more than you've got now is a great trait, because it's going to keep you moving forward to get even better and even better and even better. But I always say this to people, the journey will always be better than the end result. Yeah, it's great if you finally reach a day where you feel amazing and think, wow, that's me, that's what I'm done. I don't want to look any different to this. The journey that you've been on will always be better than the final result. For example, when I stood on the bodybuilding stage last year, that was probably the peak physique I'd had. I felt great, but I didn't enjoy getting on stage and doing that half as much as the prep for it, half as much as the work I put in for it. The journey will always be better than the end result. So it's important to look back from where you've come and look at that journey rather than just look at where you are now. I want to finish on a quote as well that didn't really hit me until I'd read it a few times. And the quote is, sometimes from the bitterest of experiences comes the greatest awakening. And I think, you know, when I read it the first time, I thought, oh, that's pretty good. But it's so true. My bitterest experience in my life was when I absolutely smashed my shoulder to pieces. But I'm so grateful that happened to me. It's the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I was in a job where I didn't really want to be, just going through the motions, just in comfort, to be honest, just getting by. Yeah, I might have looked all right, but I wasn't particularly happy with what I was doing. I was just doing the same thing over and over. In a job, like I say, that I've been in 10 years, didn't really want to be there, was just there because it was comfortable, the money was all right, and I'd accepted that, yeah, that'll probably be me now till, 60, 70, 80, whatever it'll be. I'll just stick by the time I get there. Fuck knows what it'll be, but yeah, I was just happy and just thought, well, I wasn't happy, sorry. It was just comfortable, and I thought, right, that's me forever. If that shoulder injury hadn't happened, I would be nowhere near where I am today. I've learned so much. I've had so many mega experiences. My life has changed drastically in the last 2.5 years. You know, if I look back and if I looked at the time, I would have no idea that you'd be stood here talking to people today. So, like I say, from the bitterest experiences comes the greatest awakening. And my awakening, my biggest awakening, was my shoulder injury. So, long story short, basically what I'm trying to say is obstacles, hurdles are 100% going to come, but it's how we handle them, it's how we tackle them. And 9 times out of 10, the obstacle is there to make you better. And that's it.